So phosphorus in boars. Yeah, I'm not aware. So if anyone is, let me know. Gill development, phosphorus. Well, I don't know if not aware of gill development, but I've seen Dr. Karini's Veer work where she did it with finishing pigs. She looked at bone ash, and it was interesting to see, right, that we can extrapolate that information to the gills. It's not ideal, but it's the best we have right now. So that was interesting from that standpoint. I'll put a yes and a question. Gestation, restricted fed. Let's see what we got here. All right, so that's one that I've been pushing for a while now, and I'd like to see more studies, but I know Dr. Tommy Crenshaw from University of Wisconsin has done a recent one, and I will have him on the podcast shortly, but I don't recall the results. I don't know the results. If anyone knows, I haven't reviewed. I think I asked Weasley Orlando, and he sent me, I need to review that, but if you know the results, tell us here, okay? But despite, we need, of course, that's a small scale. We need large scale now. The reason that one was small scale is because, when you're going to be very deficient, you need to be careful. You don't want to do that necessarily in a farm. So that is in a commercial farm. So phosphorus, I put still a question mark. Lactation, what do we have here? Phosphorus. Any recent in phosphorus? I don't know. I don't recall if we did or if anyone has done, but it would be good to have another one. Yeah, I don't recall, but hey, help me remember here. Nursery, phosphorus. Well, nursery and finishing, I put 2 marks here. I mean, Dr. Karini Veer has done a series of studies with phytase, without phytase in nursery, right? The whole thing around superdosing, right? It seemed to be very good in nursery. Question marks is still in finishing. I know in Brazil, they were not able to see the superdosing response, okay? Probably maybe because there's more complex diet, so I don't know. But yeah, very, very comfortable here when it comes to phosphorus. And NRC was deficient, okay, when it comes to phosphorus. Trying to remember the numbers here, but I want to say we're talking here 30%. We're going to be 30% roughly, but that's just a rough. Again, look at the data. Okay, let's see what else we got from Philippines. Histidine. Okay, around 32% histidine to lysine. Thank you, Mariana. Cow phos. Okay, so boars. Question mark. I'm not aware. Gill development. Yeah. Question mark. Gestation. Well, yeah. Question mark. Lactation. I'm not aware. So let me know. Nursery. Yeah. So nursery and finishing. Again, Dr. Karini Veer has done a series of studies. I mean, Dr. Carolina Vega, Dr. Stein, Hans Stein they have done a series of studies on this area, so that's interesting. I think we're pretty good shape there at this point. Sodium in boars, I'm not aware of any data. Gill development, not aware. Gestation, I'm not aware. Lactation, I'm not aware. Nursery, yeah. So nursery. Dwight Schock has done a series, 2 or 3 studies, and it's very interesting. The bottom line there is that NRC is spot on. So it's, I want to say 0.4% sodium in that first diet, 0.35 in that second diet, 0.28 in that third diet, okay? Now, when you go to the finishing, the NRC is at 0.10. But most diets would be at 0.2 or 0.25, maybe because of concerns with maybe tail biting, but we're going to talk about that soon. But I would say that we need, and correct me here, I know some of you have done recent those response in the finishing, and the bottom line is that I don't think there was any differences, right? So let us know here. I think there is one study recent, I think it was Dwight as well in the finish. I'm not confident, but I'll put a question mark for now. Let us know in the comments here. All right, so minerals. All right, so you see that, remember some questions here. Nursery, I guess, it's a lot of good stuff here. But then we're getting some gray, crazy areas here. So minerals, question mark. I'm talking general, right? Of course, there's some one-off type studies, but I don't think we have had any massive learning. But again, let me know if I'm forgetting anything here, okay? Minerals, gill development, not aware. Gestation, not quite aware. Lactation, and again, these are trace minerals, okay? We already talked about calcium and phosphorus. Lactation, no, I don't recall anything. And then nursery and finishing, yes. A lot of studies, zinc, right? And now transition out of zinc and copper in the early finishing, maybe some zinc in late finishing. Dr. Chad Polk has done when you have ractopamine. Okay, so that's interesting. Let's see any comments so far. Clarence, phosphorus requirements. Another criteria to consider is determine requirements in phosphorus excretion, environmental impacts, understudied in North America. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point, Clarence. And that's why folks use phytase, right? To minimize the impact in the environment. All right, vitamins, inborns. We've done one study. I believe we had vitamin D, vitamin E. On that study, we didn't see a whole lot. We were trying to look at during heat stress, but I put question mark here. Gill development, vitamins. Ooh, Roger, Dr. Campbell, help me here, because I think there's been some folic acid work in Australia, and it'll be interesting to know, was that a guilt? Was that gestation? But I believe it helped with total bond, right? Let us know here. But all in all, I still put a question mark here, okay? And again, remember, it's not that there's no studies in any of these question areas. Maybe it's a small study, maybe something. A lot of these things is at least the ones that I'm comfortable about. Okay, the confidence. I'm confident about some of these things. Vitamins, gestation. No, I don't think I'm aware of. Well, yeah, there's been the carnitine work, right? 18, 20 years ago, and helped with birth weight and total bond. It would be good to have another carnitine, a series of studies. There was 10 studies in the past. It would be good to have some of that recently. Okay, lactation vitamins, I'm not aware. Nursery vitamins, nursery vitamins, anyone? I mean, yeah, I don't recall. But again, let me know. Finishing vitamins. So Leandro Del Tufo has done a study, I believe, I don't recall if that was a few hundred pigs or 1,200 pigs. I want to say it was 1,200 pigs. That one, he was comparing the old K-State vitamin specs with the new one. And no major change on that study. And again, it goes back, there's the whole thing about health, what are those interactions? Is there any increasing in vitamin requirement? For me, still some of the question mark. I'd love to see some more in-depth data, right? All right, so getting to the end here of this massive session, and we are going to wrap up probably soon here. But dietary electrolyte balance. Okay, so the bottom line is, at least in my view, it's not a big deal in pigs. Dr. Joe DeRucci has done some studies 10, 15 years ago probably. That was in lactation. I believe he saw improvement in purine mortality, but it was somewhat of a smaller scale study. Definitely would be interesting to look at that at a large scale, right? So I just put a question mark all over the place. Here I just put a little check because of that one study. And then nursery, finishing, I believe Dr. John Patient has done a little bit, maybe Dr. Dean Boyd as well, and didn't find a whole lot. Nursery, at least I believe there's one that I'm missing. I put a question mark here, but the bottom line here, as far as I recall, even in the nursery, there's no anything that we've tried to do. Well, so Dr. Jose Soto has done here in the finishing, trying to solve that crude protein problem, and there was zero effect, okay? So I don't buy a whole lot of dietary electrolyte balance.